I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Right.
Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
Anyone claiming that America's economy is in decline is peddling fiction.
I've abandoned free market principles to save the free market system.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Raising the debt ceilings does not increase our debt. It does not somehow promote profligacy.
I know words. I have the best words. Nobody knows the system better than me, which is why I alone can fix it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is the Peddling Fiction Podcast. He is the one and only Justin Hillbilly Boy Campbell, and I am the voice and soul of so-called fiction, Johnny Probita. What's going on over there? Are you late today?
I was asleep. I was sleeping on the couch and woke up. And, I
was so disappointed to actually see your message a minute ago. I was like, I was like, I guess I'll go for a beach walk. Now I got to do some work.
Yeah. My truck's torn apart again. I'm having issues with the wheel bearings. So I'm working on that. Stephanie's going out of town for work, leaving this afternoon. And Sean got a job. It's been a busy week. Had a lot going on today, and I laid down on the couch just to take a break, and I just crashed out hard. And it was kind of nice. I think I slept for like three or 4 hours, but I wasn't intending to.
Yeah, you could have stayed there. It wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Well, I couldn't do that because I do have something special for you. Since it is June and all, I got us our
Rainbow
Pride
Bag logo.
So it looks like
like candy, dude. Yeah, I want to eat that.
Well, yeah, what was
Mike and Ike's or something?
Fruity Pebbles is what I was thinking.
Pebbles. Oh.
Yeah. It reminds me of Fruity Pebbles.
They're a little too oblong shaped for Fruity Pebbles, but yeah, they look delicious. Those look like some delicious pills to swallow. Oh shit! So we'll be unveiling this for the month of June, huh? I love it. We got to show our solidarity with the 2S LGBTQIA plus community. I don't want to leave anybody out.
Just remember, when you're showing solidarity with people, you have to be careful about the way that you like use hand signals and stuff. They can be misconstrued. Here's Cory Booker giving Oscar salute.
Yeah, this was, dude. I don't know. Did you see any of the Keith Olbermann stuff that was circulating about this?
I've had Keith Olbermann blocked for a long time. That dude is a absolute fucking tool bag. So I have not.
It was so okay. So for the listening audience, that was Cory Booker doing almost the exact same thing that Elon Musk did a few months ago that got him branded a Nazi saluter. According to Keith Olbermann, the difference is that his fingers weren't together. You see how his pinky and his ring finger are separated right there? That means it's not a Nazi salute. But he did the exact same thing that Elon Musk did. Put his hand to his heart and then reached out toward the crowd. But his fingers weren't together. I don't remember if Elon's fingers were together. I didn't analyze it that in depth. But apparently, as long as your fingers are separated a little bit, there's a little bit of space between your fingers, then it's not a Nazi symbol. Not a Nazi salute. It's just a perfectly normal, perfectly healthy way to show appreciation for the crowd. It is. It's really quite some. Do you remember how many like news sites and articles? Oh, yep, those fingers are together.
It's hard to tell. Like his. I don't know.
Yeah, but look how much force. Like he's like real tense about it. Yeah. Corey's was more like casual, you know, just like, oh yeah, what's up, guys?
I mean, is that really good though? That he's just like giving a casual sig heil?
Yeah,
Like,
no, dude, you gotta when you sig heil, you gotta put everything behind that. You gotta give it some oomph. Dude, I mean, we could probably pull up like one of those montages or something about Elon Musk being a fucking Nazi now because he did that. And then we could compare it to how many of these news outlets picked up the Cory Booker story, claiming he's a Nazi now, which of course they shouldn't, because that's absolutely ridiculous to call somebody a Nazi for doing that. But if they were being fair, open and honest press that we're supposed to have, he would get the exact same coverage. Because after all, it's indisputable that that's a Nazi salute. And it's evidence that you're a white supremacist. So, Cory Booker, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club, Cory Booker. And this is all while Elon Musk has seemingly broken ties with the Trump administration. He's out. He's officially done with the Doge experiment. That was an utter failure. But now he's actually coming out and like forcefully speaking against the big, beautiful bill.
well, okay, so 130 days was the extent of his contract with Doge, from the way I understood it. So like he's at the end of the allotted time that he had intended to do this anyway, which obviously the media is picking up on. Oh, look, he's like going out in a blaze of glory. It's like, or he's going out when he had always intended to. And also he was brought in to be in charge of Doge. And the whole point of that was cut government waste, cut government spending. And then the big, beautiful bill does the polar opposite of that. So like naturally you would think like, it's probably not going to be something that the guy that you brought in to cut. Like if you brought somebody in whose specific purpose is to make sure that you're being efficient, and then all you do is inefficient bullshit, he's probably not going to be real happy about the inefficient bullshit when that's like his whole job was to do away with that.
Yeah, and he's not going to stick around because he's got companies to run. He's got better things to do. He was generous enough to give his time to these things, although some people will claim it's just because he had all of these government contracts and wanted to influence all these agencies that affected his businesses. But I think if things were going well with the whole Doge experiment, they could have just kind of renewed that 130-day thing in perpetuity, and he would have stuck around longer. I'm pretty sure they could do that. But yeah, I wonder if he's going to go like deep down the radical anarchist hole now. I wonder if this is going to be the thing that, like, he must be so disillusioned after, spending basically 6 months, elbow deep in the swamp trying to just get a little something done. And you just did you see any of that Bono shit on Rogan where he was talking about how like 300,000 people have died or something because they cut USAID funding?
No, I didn't see that. They have given those sorts of numbers. They started giving those numbers literally the day that they talked about cutting USAID funding. Like, 300,000 people. Like, where did you come up with this number? This is like, they just pull these numbers out of their ass and then you're expected to believe it, even though there's no evidence or anything. It's like 300,000, 6 million, all these numbers is like, where's the proof? Show me some evidence.
Yeah, well, and even if it was true, that they're literally just doing that intentionally. They're not, hypothetically, if they were helping save the lives of 300,000 people, they're only doing it to use it as a shield so that you don't cut the other hundreds of billions of dollars worth of funding that they're using to kill hundreds of thousands of people around the world. Like all the shit that they're involved in, anything positive that would come out of it is dwarfed by all of the negative. And you know that these people are just, they set up these facades that they can point to, be like, look at this little girl over here. She's not going to get her life-saving AIDS medicine in Africa because you cut the AID funding. And it's like, yeah, I know you just trotted that out there. Like the only reason you were giving her this medicine is so that you could use it as a shield in case anybody came after your money laundering scheme. And then you could try to tug at their heartstrings. I mean, these are horrible people. But anyway, back to the Elon Musk thing. Like you spend 6 months, you try to cut like the smallest amount of like waste, fraud, and abuse from this system, and you get nothing. You get worse than that. Like your reputation is like trash beyond belief. You got people assaulting your Tesla stores. They're still doing that, by the way. I saw some guy went into one of the I think it was one of the Optimus sites where they have the humanoid robots, and he was like throwing pies in the face of the robots or something. You got all that shit. You got people calling you a white supremacist Nazi, and you didn't accomplish anything, despite having like Elon Musk, and at one point you had Vivek Ramaswamy. I don't know what happened to him. He just like sort of fell off the map too. It must be very, I would think he'd be very disillusioned with this whole two-party system. And maybe this is going to force him down the rabbit hole towards abolishing government altogether. I don't know.
Vivek ended up deciding to run for governor of Ohio. And so he pulled out of the Doge saying to focus on that, which I don't know. I guess that's, seems like he has more political aspirations than what he may have seemed like he had originally. I think he got a taste for it doing the campaigning stuff for his presidential run, where he was really just playing spoiler to the neocons on stage for a lot of those debates and stuff. He was kind of playing the Trump part while Trump wasn't participating in any of the stuff, which was fun and funny. But I think it actually gave him more of a taste for the political realm than what he had originally had. And so he went on to, like I said, he's running for the governor of Ohio. So that's cool, I guess. We'll see what comes of that.
I don't understand the desire to get involved in politics when you've got, I don't know, dude, it seems like you got the world by the fucking balls. Why would you want to get involved, like running for fucking governor and shit? Like, who cares? But I don't know. I guess when you have everything, you just you want the power, I suppose, that comes along with it. But anyway, can you read some of these quotes from Elon Musk? He's outraged.
I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. The massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it. Then here's his, Congress is making America bankrupt. The U.S. budget deficit in 2000 was $236 billion. 01, 128. 02, 158. 03, 378. 413, 318, 248, 161, 459. And then we hit the 2009, 1.4 trillion, 1.29 trillion in 10, 1.3 trillion in 11, 1.07 trillion in 12. Like, the budget deficit doesn't stop. Like, it's like
always, yeah.
It's like if you balance your checkbook, like, if every month this is what your check, if every month you've overspent by $236, $128, $158, and then like $1,000, yeah, obviously you're fucking bankrupt. Which, I mean,
yeah. Well, and then $1,000 just becomes the floor. Like 2009, the reason it went from okay, so in 2007 it was 161, and then it jumped to 459. Like, that's a huge jump. It's a massive fucking jump right there. And then in 2009, you go from 459 to 1.4 trillion. That's the bank bailouts, right? But then, that was an emergency. That was a one-time thing, emergency, Great Recession, right? That saved us from a depression, apparently. And then you never see it go back below $1 trillion. Now $1 trillion's the floor, and then pretty soon $2 trillion will be the floor. I don't know if I think Biden got it slightly under $2 trillion, maybe 1 year during his presidency, after Trump took it to $2 trillion during the other the other epic emergency, which was the COVID thing. So anytime you get these spending increases or these taxes, it's always the floor. There's a lot of shit going on in Chicago right now. They were trying to pass this. It was like $1.50 tax on any delivery that you got that wasn't grocery. So anytime you ordered like food or something, they just tack on $1.50. It didn't pass. They might try it again. Like they had it in there with like a bunch of other shit, and that portion didn't pass apparently. But I was telling people, I was like, you have to remember like that. If this does pass, that's the floor. The $1.50 is the floor. It only goes up from there. Once they get the authorization to tax your deliveries, they're not going to tax it less, and they're not going to take the tax away. So it's only going to go up. And the same thing happens with these budgets. Once they get authorization to spend $1 trillion more than they're taking in, well, they're going to do that. They're going to do that in perpetuity, and they're going to push the envelope. Then it's going to be $2 trillion. Then it's going to be $3 trillion. And it's always going to be some sort of an emergency that takes it to the next level. And they'll claim it's a one-time thing. This is an emergency, Great Recession, emergency, COVID. Yeah. Somehow they managed to find it a once in a lifetime emergency every 10 years or so.
Well, then Trump has been, since he got in office, going after Rand Paul and Thomas Massey, like the only people who are standing in opposition to this, like, right. What was it when they said they were gonna primary Massey? Like, good fucking luck. Do you know how much money AIPAC dumped into Massey's opponent trying to get him out in the last election and got absolutely fucking boat raced? He won 63 to like 28 with the rest of them going like voting for Harambe or what the fuck ever. Like he doesn't lose in that area. Like doesn't matter how much money you put into it, he will win. Like, because the people of his district understand, like, this is the one guy that's actually standing out here, like, saying the truth. Like Rand Paul. Rand's in the same boat. If Republicans have, or if Kentuckians have proven one thing, it's that they will vote for the same person for the Senate for literally forever, regardless of what that person does. Mitch McConnell is a prime example. That dude could literally be a corpse, and as long as he's on the ballot, he's going to win, which is fucking crazy. But Rand Paul's not going to lose either, and he does his Festivus thing every year where he goes through like all of the like excessive spending and ridiculous bullshit that he's found in like the government waste type stuff. Like this is what the people of their states want, of their state, in this particular instance, Kentucky.
Yeah, it will. And, Rand Paul has stuck up for Trump in certain instances when he thinks Trump is being wronged or Trump is on the right side of something. And Trump is just like, dude, the second you don't do anything like exactly what Trump wants you to do, he just fucking turns on you. This is his truth. Is Rand votes no on everything, but never has any practical or constructive ideas. His ideas are actually crazy losers. The people of Kentucky can't stand him. This is a big growth bill.
Yes, that's the problem. It's a big growth bill. It's growing government spending, and that's it. And like the idea that the people of Kentucky don't like Rand, dude, go... Like Trump, go to Kentucky with Rand Paul, and the people will cheer more for Rand than they're going to for you, especially after you've been attacking Rand and Massey. Like,
yeah, and it's just, dude, this thing that Trump had, like everything just has to be big and better, like everything. The whole point of the Republican Party allegedly is to shrink the size of government. Now that never actually happens. They don't even come close. We always get these big growth bills out of them every time they have control of everything. But that's not this being a big growth bill is not the bragging talking point that he thinks it is. This is like, what's that?
I gotta pop out for a second.
Okay, cool. The idea behind his big growth bill is that yes, okay, we do have $1 trillion deficits, and yeah, we are going to end up having to raise the debt ceiling, and sure, maybe this adds $5 trillion to the national debt pretty quickly, but because we're giving tax cuts to people, that's going to spur economic growth, and we're going to, as a ratio of debt to GDP, we're going to be able to grow our way out of this problem, even though we're already over 120% debt to GDP, which is basically, that's the Mason-Dixon line where it's like, okay, yeah, you're a fucking bankrupt country. You're fucked. You're not going to grow your way out of it, because there's no way that you can grow that much. And I think we made this analogy on the last episode, or maybe it was 2 episodes ago, where it's like, if the growth is a cancer and it's growing like exponentially, it keeps growing. You're like, we're not going to worry about shrinking that cancer. We're not going to hit it with any chemo or anything like that. We're just going to like make sure we keep reproducing more white blood cells or whatever. And they'll be able to just keep this thing contained. But it just doesn't work that way. That's not how you get rid of a cancer. And believe me, government is absolutely a cancer on the rest of the country. It is responsible for every issue in your life right now. Maybe with the exception of some personal relationships or something like that. But any problem that you have in your day-to-day life, it can be tracked directly to them. And they're an albatross around your neck. They are a drain of everything productive in society, just gets sucked out of all corners of the country and funneled into Washington, D.C. for them to line their pockets. This big growth bill. Yeah, dude, it's just so infuriating to watch Trump be this ridiculous. You would think that he would just, okay, like you got like 2 people voting against it, 3 people voting against it. Just let that go. It's not a good look to go after the only 2 people that are like principled in government and who will be allies to you if you end up doing the right thing in any given situation. But if you're going to pretend that you are this fiscal conservative and you're concerned about budget deficits and the debt and inflation and everything like that, probably not a good look to attack the only 2 people that are trying to rein in government spending and the growth of government overall. It's not even just the spending. It's just all of these things just keep getting bigger. Yes, there's more spending, but the departments get bigger. More and more people are hired. It's like, yeah, okay, they ended up getting rid of a bunch of employees by offering them, a severance or whatever. But this just grows everything else that's in there. Every single bill makes government bigger. Every single one. Unless the bill was like, 1 paragraph long and said like, we're eliminating this department, we're getting rid of this, we're getting rid of that. If it's anything else, they're growing government. If it's a new law, they're growing government, because they're going to have somebody to implement that law. And if it's some sort of new program, obviously they're going to have to grow to accommodate the new program. If they're expanding a program, if the program's getting more funding, obviously they're going to have to grow to accommodate that expansion. So they're just constantly growing. And these bills, they're thousands of pages. It's just cartoonish. It's cartoonish, this idea that you could run a country this way. And you can see that it's not working. It's an unmitigated disaster. And it's just, everything's just all over the place. Nobody knows what's in these bills. Even in the Chicago thing that I was talking about, that was like 1,000-page bill or something. And they drop it like right at midnight, right before midnight. And there's supposed to be a vote on it. They do the exact same thing. It's just on a smaller level there. And the idea that they can just get away with it in perpetuity. Like there's just, like I said, they brought in one guy who had been pretty successful in a lot of other ventures, and he wasn't able to accomplish a goddamn thing. Had the president's ear, had all the momentum behind him, had, all, had the House, had the Senate, like had everything. You couldn't have asked for a better position to be in order to accomplish shrinking government. And then you get this big growth bill. That's a direct quote. And it's like, yeah, there's no hope for this. There's none. I guess we're just not at that point yet. We're nowhere near the point of Argentina where they're just like, no, we're like, we just have to actually get rid of things now. I don't know when we're going to get to that point, but but by the time we get there, the suffering that the American people are going to have to go through is going to be fucking absolutely brutal. Like, we could do it now. And yes, you'll see, I guarantee you'll see all these corporate press talking heads pointing out like, oh, like, look at these people that are losing their funding, and look at these poor people over here that aren't getting this because they cut this government program, and they're not going to get that because they cut that government program. It's like, yeah, they can always point to something that the government was doing that is going to affect people when you take it away. But remember the seen versus the unseen. Look at all the things, like, that's what makes it so hard to kind of argue this from or to convince people from a libertarian standpoint. It's like, we have to try to illustrate all these things that are happening that you can't see because the government is involved in all of these industries. It's like, we don't have somebody to point to that was affected because the government spent an extra $1 trillion doing this. It's like, yeah, we could show you, like, on a chart, these lines going up, but they can obfuscate that. They can, they make it all these delays, they can blame it on the previous administration. They can always have some sort of excuse as to why it's not really their problem or their fault, or, or whatever. But it's, the second you try to cut any of this, they're going to trot everybody that has a livelihood that's dependent on this apparatus, which includes the corporate press. I mean, like, who would watch CNN? Well, not many people watch CNN anyways these days, but, like, who's going to watch that stuff if they don't, like, if there's just no government to report on? It's like their livelihood is directly tied to keeping all of these agencies relevant. And they get all kinds of funding from, these weapons companies and things that run advertising on all those stations. And those weapons companies get the contracts from the, military industrial complex. So it's all just fucking tied together. And, I don't know, dude. It's just, it really is this whole ordeal, the last 6 months or so with Elon Musk and Doge and everything. It has to be a very sobering wake up call to the American people that it's like, yo, dude, these people, even the one, like, the most serious about rolling back government in my lifetime, and this is the best that they can do. And it's pathetic. They accomplished nothing. Like, what would this like? Imagine if there was no Doge and there was no Elon Musk, and it was just, instead of Donald Trump, it was like a Mitt Romney or something that got elected. Do you think this big growth bill would look any different? It would be exactly the same. It would be exactly the same. So we should be like, I mean, honestly, like decades ago, we should have nipped this in the bud and taken the pain and tried to roll back the size and scope of government. And of course, we didn't do that. We just doubled down on a losing hand. And eventually, we will get to that point where Argentina was a year or two ago, about 2 years ago now, maybe, where they're just like, okay, like we just can't do this anymore. It's not working. And that we've suffered from unbelievably high inflation. Everything's been wrecked. We have all of these like stupid government agencies. It's amazing to me that people don't like, do you really need to get to the point of hyperinflation and starvation and destitution to realize that we don't need like these stupid government agencies that don't do anything? I mean, can't we just agree to get rid of like all the ridiculous shit that Doge found? It's like, no, they'll always find something. They'll always find something to cry about, you know? It's like, what it reminds me of the whole thing with the Kurds. You know, it's like, oh, what about the Kurds? Like, nobody gives a shit about the fucking Kurds. They cared about them for like a week just to kind of fucking bash Donald Trump over the head with it. And then once that was gone, it's like, yeah, nobody gives a shit about the Kurds anymore. Nobody gives a shit about, some kid in Africa that doesn't get his AIDS medication or something. I see those floating around on Twitter. And like, they don't really care about that. If they did, it would not be hard to replace whatever the government was actually doing with some sort of private charity. It really wouldn't. And if you actually cared about these causes, then you'd put your money where your mouth is. You wouldn't just rely on a third party. Just be like, oh, well, the government does it. I pay my taxes, so it's not my problem. Like, I don't have to deal with it. But you would think we would just be able to get rid of those and they could just shut up. It's like, yeah, okay. Like, it'd be one thing if we were running huge surpluses. You know, we had all this money and all this wealth and nobody in the US was suffering. It's like, okay, yeah, we can afford to blow it doing stupid shit around the world. All these, speaking of Pride Month, all these LGBTQIA plus programs that they were doing in like Afghanistan or something, like all that stupid shit that we outlined on the show at the beginning of the year. That Doge found money going to. It's like, if be one thing if we were running all kinds of surpluses and we wanted to spend money on stupid shit, but we haven't, as Justin pointed out in that list there, we haven't run a surplus ever. Like, even when they claim that like the Clinton administration balanced the budget and everything, like look at the national debt each one of those years, it still went up. They just fucking do all these accounting gimmicks to make it look like they didn't spend more than they took in.
Yeah, there's another post from Geiger Capital on that Zero Hedge article that shows like deficit every year. And like, if you look at, I want to say it's 96 through 99, it shows like surplus. And then, but every single year before that, it was way in the negative. For that little short period, it goes to a very brief surplus and then right back into the negative and just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. It's like when you've been running negatives that long, even if you do run a surplus for 3 years, if assuming it's legitimate, what does it matter? Like, okay, you just threw a few pebbles at the problem.
Yeah, the exception doesn't disprove the rule. It's like, yeah, it's, I don't know. I was just kind of, I don't know if you heard anything that I was rambling about, but basically just talking about how disillusioned everybody should be with the fact that they're not even close to rolling back government at all. And on top of that, it's like, okay, like you would think they're getting all this funding and everything. Like, are they doing anything right? Are they getting anything right? And the answer is usually no. It's like, I guess, like, yeah, they were able to shut down the border. Sounds like that's going pretty well. Other than that, is there anything that like you could really point to that's being a success?
Speaking of, hang on, let me find this. This is a hilarious post. Apparently, Stephen Miller has just been like going off on ICE for. Here we go. I found it. Stephen Miller came in there and eviscerated everyone. You guys aren't doing a good job. You're horrible leaders. He just ripped into everybody, said one official. Stephen Miller wants everybody arrested. Why aren't you at Home Depot? Why aren't you at 7-Eleven? Up your deportation game. Get on it. Why? What is going on?
Dude, I haven't been to a Home Depot in a while. Do they still hang out there and like looking for work?
Yes. They hang around in the like lumber section. So when people come in like looking for lumber and drywall and stuff, they can be like, hey, we do that for you. You don't have to do it. We got you. Yeah. They like Lowe's is a little more strict on like no solicitation. And Meyer is like really strict on it. So like they'll run them off like, but Home Depot is a little more lax on that. So they'll kind of hang around and like try to catch people. It's funny.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Sorry, I was just scrolling through Twitter here. They're very upset about these Medicaid cuts. Oh yeah.
And we've talked about that like ad nauseum. The Medicaid cuts aren't actually Medicaid cuts, and it's over the course of 10 years. Nothing, and like Massey has said, anything that's more than 3 years, it's not happening. And like he said, I've been in office for 12 years. He said any plan that goes more than 3 years will not fucking happen. Like, right. So
well, and it's just again like if you're gonna take all this shit, like the Democrats are going to say that you're throwing grandma off of Medicare and you're taking all this health care away from all these poor people. Like they're going to slam you either way. Make actual cuts then. Like you might as well actually gut some of these fucking programs because they're going to say you're gutting them anyway. And then when you don't actually gut them and the programs still fucking suck and we're still in fucking debt 3-5 years from now, you got nothing to show for it except that you gave them a bunch of ammunition to use against you because you claimed you were cutting something that you didn't actually do. So you made the problem worse and you gave the other side ammunition to attack you with. You might as well make a huge fucking cut to something. Like, can we just try, like, see what happens? Can we just try it in something? That would just be one, like, I just want to see do one major cut to something. Like cut it by 50% and see if anybody notices. After everybody freaks out and like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. Give it a year. And you tell me that there's, first of all, that like nothing would step in, nothing in the private sector would step in and fill a 50% void. There's couldn't possibly step in and find a way to make money providing that whatever that government service was. I'm sure cheaper, better, and more efficient than the government could. But I guarantee, like, dude, who would notice? Who would notice other than the lobbyists and all of these people connected to Washington, D.C., and then, yeah, like people that were probably rearranging their lifestyle to qualify for whatever the program was. We should just try one thing. Maybe that's the way you run it. Like, listen, we're going to try to cut 40% of this and just this. We're not going to cut anything else. This is just 40% of this, and let's see what happens. And if it's an unmitigated disaster and people are just dying in the streets, okay, then we up it by 5%. And then you find how much you actually need to fix that problem. But it would be 0. You don't need any of it. I don't know. What else we got today?
Well,
Kind of a light news week. Yeah. Oh, did you see that the terrorist attack? Well, I guess I don't know if we can call it a terrorist attack yet.
what? No.
This was in Boulder. It was yesterday. This guy was like throwing Molotov cocktails at people, at Jews. This Egyptian guy. So maybe there's a reason you haven't heard of this. Because he's like a pro-Hamas, anti-Zionist, illegal immigrant. Well, he was here legally, but then he overstayed his visa. And he came over during the Biden administration, overstayed, I think twice. And he was like supposed to get something, and then he overstayed that or whatever. And then, yeah, yesterday he just started firebombing people. I don't even know like if anybody actually died. I know like a couple people were pretty badly burned. But it's not a big surprise that the media didn't want to run with that story. Didn't check a lot of their boxes for what we're going to berate people over the head with in terms of a news story. I think he was an Egyptian guy. Yeah.
We're here. We can't do nothing about that. We can't do nothing. We can. Not here. You have to answer this. Not here, bro. You're not.
I'm taking video right now. He was wearing an orange suit with like something on his back.
Spraying alcohol.
Spraying alcohol, but with one of them made it look like he was here.
He's drinking Molotov cocktails. Well, we can't do it when he's got Molotov cocktails in there. If you are fighting, you have to. That's what he's got right here. Is Molotov.
So yeah.
I don't understand why people are such fucking pussies. Like he doesn't have an open flame. Like he's not carrying an open flame. He has 2 bottles of fucking vodka in his hands and some rags stuffed in his pocket. He's got no shirt on. Like bull rush this motherfucker and knock him down and beat the fuck out of him. Like what? We can't do anything. He's got Molotov cocktails on him. He's got 2 bottles of fucking vodka. Like you can take somebody down who has 2 bottles of vodka. I promise you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess, I don't know, there's like some sort of, it's some sort of demonstration. I think they've been doing like every week or something since the whole Israel Gaza thing. And yeah, he was planning this for over a year. He dressed up as like a gardener or something to get close. And then, yeah, I don't know, dude.
But Trump has the deportations thing right, but I think they're going after the wrong ones. Like, I don't give a fuck about the Mexicans who are here illegally working, gardening jobs, like doing landscaping bullshit like that. Like, what about all of the Middle Easterners that got imported just en masse that are not doing anything, that are like just completely filling up hotels, that are literally doing terroristic bullshit, like that overstayed their visas. They shouldn't be here. Round all and not only that, they were here on visas. So you have documentation. You should know where they are. Go fucking round them up and send them the fuck back. That's an easy big W that they could pick up within the next 3 to 6 months and like do fucking that.
Yeah, it is. Like I have seen a few videos of them, like they're raiding like construction job sites and stuff and rounding up people. It's like, yeah, dude, like get it. Like again, dude, it's just like, why give them that ammunition? Like you have the vast majority of the American people on your side for this issue. But it's like, yeah, you got to have priorities. It's like, yeah, dude, the guy working on the construction site for, $8 an hour under the table or something. That's not It's like, yeah, there are obviously people that work in that industry that are being priced out of the job market. Yeah, that's a concern for them. But like, we got to prioritize here. You got to prioritize. That's why everyone was like, yeah, go after the MS-13 gang members. Sure, that's great. Get them the fuck out. And then, you know, you kind of just go down the ladder from there. And once you got everything figured out, then maybe you can go to the construction site where the illegals are working for cash under the table, and you can, I don't know, start deporting them. But you would think that you would think that after the first Trump administration and the way, like how many times they come at you from all kinds of different angles, like wouldn't you want to just protect yourself like better than that and not like leave your chin open to an obvious haymaker? Like, why give them these sort of opportunities? Why give them the opening? You don't need to do it. There's plenty of things you can do that they will embarrass themselves trying to defend. Like when they went to El Salvador to protect the wife beating gang MS-13 guy or whatever. But it's like, yeah, you could like they'll gladly take up these retarded causes and make themselves look stupid. You don't have to give them an issue. It's pretty frustrating to watch them just do stupid shit like that. But and then pass this bill again. I can't. It's just nothing's ever going to change. I'm super convinced of that. I mean, if left to their own devices, obviously you could have some sort of revolution or something to change things. But like this apparatus, it's not going to change itself. It's not designed to do that. It's designed to do exactly what it's been doing, unfortunately. And I guess it wasn't designed to do that, but they've augmented the design to function exactly how it is now, which is it always grows. It never shrinks. Everything gets bigger and bigger. And they just have this like fake fight between, you know, who's going to grow at 120%, who's going to grow at 114%. And the people that are growing at 114%, you know, according to everybody else, that the sky's falling. They're gutting this thing. It's like, yeah, no, they're growing it bigger and better than ever before. I don't know how much longer. One of the things I was talking about was like, when are we going to get to the point where, you know, Venezuela was at, or Argentina was at, where it's like, okay, yeah, now we just like we have to fucking get rid of this whole fucking thing. But even then, there was still a large portion of the Argentinian population that thought Malay was like, you know, literally Hitler and was going to destroy the whole country. There's still going to be like 20% people, like no matter what. I want to know. It's almost like it reminds me of the COVID mask thing. It's like, where is your threshold for taking this mask off? Like there are still people wearing it today. So you're just is there ever a point where you would take the mask off? Like, what is that point, and what would it take for you to get there? How bad would things have to get for you to abandon your political ideology? Anyway, is that it? Is that it for today? I know it's kind of a slow news week.
Well, I mean, we should have opened with it. Instead, we found a good segue into a Sig Heil. But since it is Pride Month and we've got our very colorful background for the month, what are the MLB teams doing for?
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, so I know the Cubs and the Cardinals both do Pride events during Pride Week. Like they have the Chicago and St. Louis will have like a Pride Week festival, and the teams will do something during that time. But I'm kind of surprised that they didn't making social media posts about it has kind of become a less popular thing to do over the last few years. You've seen a lot of companies that have dialed that way back, especially after the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light thing. Like a lot of companies dialed back.
Yeah, so this is a graphic. It's showing you which teams have changed their logos for Pride Month, which teams didn't change their logos but still posted pro 2S LGBTQIA plus content on X, and then apparently all the homophobic teams.
If you ever want to change your team affiliation and fully support a completely homophobic team, the Texas Rangers are the only team in Major League Baseball that do not do anything at all for Pride Month. They don't post anything. They don't do a Pride event during the month. Not a fucking thing. So Texas Rangers, if you are looking for a
yeah, I was joking around because apparently the Cubs are in the homophobic category on this one. They didn't change their logo, and apparently they haven't posted anything about it. But their stadium is literally in the heart of Boys Town. So it's like, I am a White Sox fan at heart, but White Sox are posting gay shit. Maybe I'll switch to the Cubs, but then you literally have to be in the gay neighborhood. So I don't know how homophobic the Cubs actually are. I don't know much about these other teams either, but thought this was funny. They should be tracking it. I remember they were tracking it with the NFL too. The Bears still had their stupid fucking rainbow shit. But yeah, you should be embarrassed to do the gay thing at this point. You should be embarrassed.
Well, it became just a virtue signal. Like, it meant nothing. It never meant anything to begin with, and it means even less now. And like, there's no point in continuing to put on the facade, especially when it gets you negative publicity, like the Bud Light thing. Like Target went through it a few years ago. Oh, did you see? The black community is boycotting Target until they bring back their pro DEI hiring practices.
Yeah, I did see
like
that.
In one of the, like, we talk about, your target audience, like, video games and Bud Light advertising, like understanding your target audience. It's like, okay, so this is not your target demographic. You are going for the suburban middle to upper middle class white woman. So like, there is no reason to cave on this.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, it's like, to the virtue signaling point, where it's like, okay, like, if they're going to abandon it the second it doesn't score them any points, they're letting you know that they never gave a shit about this cause to begin with. They were only changing their logo because they got the cheap virtue signaling points and they got to pat themselves on the back. The second it became, like, people started making fun of you for changing your logo, then they didn't want to take, like, okay, clearly they were not an ally. If all it took was a little bit of ridicule and a little bit of maybe a little damage to your bottom line, and you just abandoned the 2S LGBTQIA plus community just like that, it's just so pathetic. So I guess in that regard, like the Mets and shit that were still holding on to their rainbow logos, maybe they really do believe it. But
well, if you looked at that also, what you notice is it's Baltimore, New York. I'm surprised neither of the Chicago teams did. San Francisco, obviously. I think one of them was Cleveland. I don't know. There was a logo that I didn't recognize, and Cleveland recently changed from the Indians to the something gay. Guardians. They're the Guardians. Whatever the fuck that is.
That's right, the Guardians. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll pull this back up. So you got Baltimore, the Guardians, the Mets, the Phillies, DC, LA, and San Francisco. So like the obvious culprits that are going to do this stuff. And then
that's the Guardian. Yeah, I didn't know what the hell that was either. I can't even make out what that is. What is that logo?
It's the Olympic
like
torch. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not sure.
Oh God. They can just ruin everything. They can find a way to ruin everything.
Well, obviously, obviously the Miami Marlins aren't going to do anything. Like their ownership doesn't give a single solitary fuck about making money. Like they're not trying to do anything other than just field a team and have them go play every year. Like they're not trying to do anything other than the bare minimum to like once every 20 years they'll like blow their whole wad, spin for a lineup, go win a World Series, and then gut the whole fucking thing and do it and spend the next 20 years in just complete like oblivion. You're from Chicago, so you know the Cubs had their 100 years of no championships, no World Series. The White Sox haven't been as bad, but yeah, it's been a while. Would you rather have a team that's competitive every year, like the Cubs and the White Sox were for a long time, but just never wins, or have a team that sucks donkey dick every single year, but once every 10 to 15 years, they put together a team and they go on a World Series run? So like a Miami Marlins fan has as many or more World Series over the last, our lifetime as a lot of other fans whose teams are good and competitive every year. Like which side of that would you rather fall on?
Yeah, the competitive thing it's pretty frustrating because you know that it's just like, okay, yeah, like they can hang around, but they're never going to go anywhere. And you're just kind of hanging around. You might as well be dog shit at that point. Like, okay, yeah, we maybe make it to the first round of the playoffs or something.
Yeah, if we're lucky we make like the NL championship game or the NL championship series. It's like, oh yay, get to be let down right before we make it to a World Series. Like it's every year it's the same thing. It's like
yeah, I'd probably rather not get my hopes up. It's nice to be consistently just fuck it. Like I just know.
Be like we are going to be dog shit this year, but one of these years here in the next few, management is going to decide, all right, it's time to just spend all the money and go put together a fucking championship run. And that's when we can get excited. And then the very next year it can go like, at least with that, you can like lean into the joke of like what the team is. And it's.
Yeah, I can see it. And you're not like on a 10-year plan to build something.
Yeah.
And then like year 8, it's like something happens and your whole 10-year plan gets fucked. Yeah, I can see that. Oh man, it's very liberating. I don't know, living in a different country where it's just like I have to go out of my way to watch these games.
While we're talking about baseball, I'll close on this. Or at least this is the last thing I got. So, as everybody knows, I'm a Mississippi State fan. I also graduated from Murray State. College World Series has been going on this past week, and in the regional final in Oxford, Mississippi, Murray State knocked off Ole Miss 12-11 last night to advance to the Super Regional against Duke and put Ole Miss out. As a Mississippi State fan and a Murray alum, watching Murray put Ole Miss out at Oxford was like the most gratifying, amazing thing ever. Like I got double satisfaction out of that. It could not have possibly been better. And the game was phenomenal. It was, I was watching at work and I was doing very little work. I was just locked in. People would come walking up and hand me something. And I'd just be like, you're just gonna have to wait until the inning is over. I'm not fucking with this until I get a commercial break.
Well, the only other thing that I wanted to mention, I think, is that the DOJ is investigating the Biden Autopen signatures for his pardons. And I legitimately think that we broke this story. Like, because nobody was talking, like it was kind of like they had just sort of announced that like, oh, Biden was using auto pens for a lot of his like legislation.
Yeah, and then we got to look
on
in
the show. We were like, wait a minute, what about his pardons? Like, what about the Fauci pardon or something? And we pulled it up, and in real time, we were like, yeah, no, this is bullshit.
Every single one of them has a perfectly identical signature. Every last one of them. Like, I had it pulled up and was just scrolling through them, click, 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 and every time it changed to the next one, there was literally no difference from one signature to the next.
Yeah, and I don't think at that point anybody had really thought about that angle of it. So if you scroll down, actually, they have a picture of or there's a video. I didn't actually watch the video, but it's got a screenshot too of 5 pardons with all the exact same signature in this article here. So, and then there's a quote here from Mike Johnson, who questioned Biden on the executive order affecting the liquefied natural gas, and reported that the president didn't remember signing the order. He looks at me stunned and said, "I didn't do that," Johnson recounted. He continued, and I said to him, "Mr. President, yes, you did. It was an executive order, 3 weeks ago." And he goes, "No, I didn't do that." It occurred to me he was not lying. He genuinely did not know what he had signed. And yeah, I guarantee you he doesn't. So he would have, I remember seeing some other article, he might have to be called to testify.
Except that he's senile and he wouldn't know what he's testing. Like, oh my gosh, then we would actually get him on the stand and get to see just how fucking out of it he is.
Yeah.
Because we talked about it before. They didn't want to put him on the stand when a lot of stuff was being brought up. They were like, oh yeah, he's like, he doesn't need to go on the stand. And
so yeah, the issue here is does he even know that all these people were pardoned? And I'm even at the time, even if you caught him at a lucid moment, I bet you he didn't know that half of these pardons went through. Man, they better hope that the cancer takes him out pretty soon. If I'm Fauci or something. I guess I don't know if that would matter if he's still around or not, but yeah, so I guess we'll keep an eye on that, but it's pretty interesting. That would be epic if they overturn the Fauci pardon, among others. I mean, I don't really, his family members and shit. It's yeah, realistically, what's ever going to happen to the politically connected family members like that? But just to be able to go after the Fauci fucking scum would be fucking great. That would be great. All right. And have you been following the Jake Tapper book tour at all?
No.
Yeah, he's been making the rounds, which is he's going on these shows. He's trying to sell this book about how there's this massive cover up about Biden's mental decline while he's in office. And it's yo, dude, you were covering it up. It's pretty amazing. But yeah, I saw he did Megyn Kelly. And she did a pretty good job of grilling him, I thought. But and then he's been on Bill Maher and I don't know, a couple other ones, I think, but I haven't watched a lot of them. But it really is something to watch him try to dance around. Oh, there's no way we could have known that Biden was mentally challenged during his presidency. It really is unbelievable what these people will just I don't know, the shamelessness, going on this book, writing this book in the first place and then going on a tour and claiming you just missed it. It really is something. But anyway, yeah, we should probably wrap on that. It's a bit of a slow news weekend.
Hopefully the summer stays slow.
Yeah, it's certainly slow around here. Things start to slow down. This is the official low season. It's hot and humid. Clouds are rolling in, and the crowds are rolling out. So that's nice. You got anything going on this week?
I'm watching all the kids. I've got
Oh,
I had a
that's right.
doctor's appointment tomorrow, and yeah, Stephanie. That's why I had to duck out. Like a vehicle pulled up, and the dogs were losing their shit, so I had to go see what was going on, and then got that figured out. And then Stephanie pulls up, and she was trying to leave, and I was trying to like see her off. And women are terrible about leaving. It's like just keep saying goodbye over and over again. It's like if I'm leaving, I just say bye, and then I get in my fucking truck and go. You don't have to worry about me like hanging around for too long or some shit. And not that I mind. I love my wife, and I will miss her while she's gone. But oh my gosh, she is terrible at just leaving. Like, just put the fucking car in drive and go. You're not gonna hurt my feelings.
A welcomed vacation. All right. Well, we will be back on Friday with a new episode, regularly scheduled. Thank you so very much for listening. And until then, you guys know what to do. Just keep on peddling that so-called fiction. Peace.